At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
And right now, stock up on your favorites during the 10 for 10 sale. Mix and match participating items and get 10 for just $10 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for two $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry or full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.
You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. Movie musings for mostly everyone. Welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your chunk.
I'm Doge, and sorry, Chunkathan, I don't see any other way.
Very good. And I'm Carter, and this haven is safe no more. Are services still off limits to me? Under the circumstances, your privileges are reinstated immediately. What do you need? Hunks. Lots of hunks.
Your Keanu is getting better.
I can't believe it. Parabellum.
It's better every time. Parabellum even.
It's not what it means.
It's starting to feel sort of like a parabellum to me.
Touch a parabellum.
It's really like the more you use that impression, it's more parabellum-y.
Can't play with you guys today. I did tweak my parabellum.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that. Playing pickleball,
I tore my parabellum wide open.
Wide open.
Doctors are
It hurts to sit.
Carter, explain to us why you're the hunk this week.
'Cause I'm standing. I'm at a standing desk. We're in a new studio. And I'm standing up, and I'm feeling the standing energy, y'all.
What's
I'm
it
just
like?
feeling it. I just feel like I have access to close proximity a little quicker. I can just get to things.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like check on something. You know, dog needs out. Gotta go let Nana out. That's our dog. It's not our grandma.
Apparently, the thing you get to isn't the point, though.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just feeling hunky for it, though. I realize I'm a swayer.
Yeah.
I think I'm a talk swayer.
You are
But
a
it's
little bit of a
nice.
talk swear, aren't you?
Yeah.
Really? What would you call that? Since you know everything about communication styles, what is that?
Talk
when you
sway?
sway back and forth when you talk. Well, you talk sway. What is it?
Parabellum. God, it was right there in front of us.
Oh, it's a parabellum. He
I'll
does a
jump in
parabellum.
here. It's actually a communication differential of about 43 degrees.
It does sound like it. You know, I was just telling my class about this. It's called a communication differential organizational. It's really what it is. It's part of the matrix of interpersonaling.
And when someone feels uncomfortable because of the way that they force their friends to play a game that causes them deep despair and hatred, it tends to manifest in the way that they present their body to the people that they're communicating with. And confidence looks like stillness.
We always talk about different
that?
proximity styles.
No, is that not clear? It's not.
Gosh. No, I saw it. That was
It's
a
just a blur.
9.5, baby.
That's for chapter 4, dude. 78
Great.
Metascore. Holy wow.
Let's go ahead and talk about this one so we can
Let's talk about
wrap
this
this up and go see the new one.
Let's talk about this one. And this one, of course, is a movie known as John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Bad name? Good name? Who knows?
Who knows?
No,
I mean, we don't see the colon again. We already know that there's no colon in 4. It feels like a Fast and Furious thing.
It does.
It does a little bit feel like a Fast and Furious thing.
Everything else about it is just so like, okay, let's choose a different color theme. Still same vibe of John Wick on the cover.
Yeah.
Why are we adding the colon? Everything else has such good, it's just fluid except for that. I mean, it's cool. It's not a super dump or anything.
John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. Give me a synopsis, please.
Talking to me or Carter?
I'm talking to the person who gives the synopsises. I don't remember his name, but I know it's one of you.
This week's IMDb synopsis is written by our new friend, Nick Reganis.
He's being serious. Actual friend.
I'm being serious. If you skip Mini Monday, shame on you. This is how you know we're friends. In the aftermath of the blood-spattered events in John Wick Chapter 2, the legendary virtuoso of death now finds himself heavily outgunned in the dark underbelly of Manhattan's tangled urban battlefield. Wow. What an opening sentence.
You shouldn't have. It's power.
It's so good because he can be still just so succinct. He doesn't have to be long. I do love when he paints the long word pictures, but this was just so short and to the point. Kind of like John, to be honest. He's probably channeling that.
And with a tempting bounty placed on Wick's head. And there's more. I said what an opening sentence, not a what a synopsis.
Gotcha. Keep going.
And with a tempting bounty placed on Wick's head and every ambitious nobody in the business itching to terminate him, the excommunicated Cardinal of Destruction is with his back to the wall. As a result, John has to confront pitilessly endless waves of the High Table's brutal assassins, and it's all because of a fatal mistake at the neutral Continental Hotel and a long-standing feud over an innocent puppy. Indeed, many have tried to claim John's head. However, dead men can't spend money. Now the artist of suffering prepares for war. But what were they thinking? Don't they know who the boogeyman is?
Nick! An artist at work, ladies and gentlemen.
I think the thing about a Nick synopsis, a synopsis, is that they function as a trailer for the movie. It's like a verbal trailer for the movie where you're just like, oh my God, I am so excited to see what happens now. Like it totally, a Nick synopsis builds hype in the same way that a trailer does.
Synopsniks.
Here's
a regananopsis.
Let's start right here. This is the one I've been waiting for. It's the best John Wick movie that's out yet. It's so freaking good. I love it. This movie owns complete bones. This is everything that I love about. I told you guys a couple weeks ago in a top 5 John Wick fight scene scenario, like 4 of them are in this one. It's just more and better.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Mm-hmm. It's just more and better. Mm-hmm. I can't. This is only my second time watching this. I've only seen it the one time in the theaters.
In the theater. I could say, as I normally do with movies that I like so much, I just want to get the green sides out of the way. Just eat those up so I can get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to super dump now. It is official. I am not a Bowery King fan. Super dump.
Okay.
Super Dump Fishburne is the Bowery King because it's just different. I don't think it's any Neo Morpheus weight in here, but he is, because John Wick aids ridiculousness. Like as we get to know the lore a little bit more, there are things that are happening that it's starting to feel borderline like fantasy. It's starting to feel like something that was based off of a graphic novel, which I love.
Right.
I love, kind of like the Watchmen vibes almost. We're turning into superheroes, and that's totally fine. But the Bowery King has just gone really like Scarborough Fair on me. And I'm just not I'm just not in. It's too much. It's way too much. There's a ton of good characterization. Like I love seeing our ballerina, and I don't know. It's just Bowery King ain't doing it for me, and kind of was taking me out. It feels like a different movie when the Bowery King is there, I guess is the best way to put it.
Here's a quick counter argument to the Bowery King argument. It's awesome, and he's awesome, and I love him.
Yeah. I love him. It just feels so ridiculous.
Hang on. Carter, had you considered that?
Yeah, did you think about that? That it's awesome?
Had. Yes.
Okay.
I think he's ridiculous in a good way.
Whitherto for thou come to me on this day, John. It was just like, it's just always, it's too much. Takes me out. He did the same laugh he did in the first one. It's not, there's no place for me for it.
There's a place in my heart.
What would make it better?
Put him there.
Like what little tweak would make that character or that idea?
I think I don't know, dude. Like I think Lawrence Fishburne needs to be this character. I just feel like it needs to be turned out a little bit, or show me why he's a lunatic. I want to see why he's actually crazy.
Long live
the king.
Yeah. It's wild. It's kind of like it feels a little bit like Whitaker in Rogue One,
where it's just like so over the top,
so over the top. But for him, it's like, oh, he's lost his mind because he's been stabbed like he's been betrayed, you know?
Yeah.
And we get the 7 cuts on the Bowery King and all that good stuff, but it's just, I don't know how he got there. I want him to be a little bit like lean into actually, I would prefer crazy over flamboyant, I guess. So it's a super picky, super dumb.
Sure.
No, I like this train because I really don't have, I mean, just being honest, I don't have much negative to say about this movie. I think it's pretty awesome. I'll super dump as well. I'll jump on. My super dump it is around this movie that I begin to realize that we had John take the dog at the end of 1 without knowing we were going to continue the story immediately in 2 and 3. I don't think we were aware that if a sequel were to take place, it would start the same night, and that the threequel would just continue that same horrible, no good, very bad week that John Wick is having. It's John Wick, more like it.
John Wick.
And so we just keep coming up with ways to hand off the dog to keep it safe, which I appreciate.
And we don't have enough time, because I thought about this too, Jordan. We don't have enough time to train the dog so it can be like Sophia's hounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I'd love to see a pit going at people too.
Would love to see it.
Yeah.
Would love to see it. But yeah, so basically every movie we come up with 1 to 2 spots where we're just like, hey, can you watch dog?
You want to...
Please take care of dog. And then we move on with the rest of our
to the Continental.
Yeah. So that brings me to something that I really love. Is obviously not a super pump. I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to wait. I'm going to savor it. But I just love that in the underworld, it seems like the rule is if you pay with coin, you trust that the job will happen. Like it doesn't seem like there's actually a lot of betraying of trust when money is exchanging hands in the underworld. The understanding is if I've given you money and you have accepted that money, you're going to do. He never once is like, and if you don't take dog to Continental, I'll kill you. Like he just hands him the coin and it's like, take the dog there.
No, because that's what Bronn the sellsword says whenever they're on his little island thing.
Yeah.
He's like, this currency is not monetary, but it's the old currency of a man's word. It's trust.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's really...
It's cool, man. It's so cool. Like it's
so cool.
It is a flaming skull embroidered on the back of a biker jacket, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Where it's just this is like cool in spite of itself.
Parabellum is officially, and I might have made the metaphor already, but Parabellum is officially for me the vibe of like sitting down with your buddies. We were supposed to do a one-off Dungeons and Dragons campaign one night. We put 14 hours in, and then I'm like, if I'm the dungeon master, I'm like, wait, nah, dude. we can ring this out. Everybody's feeling it. Let's keep going. And then it just keeps happening and it starts writing itself. And you're like, oh my God. Like have all these moments of like, yes, you did. Like, let's go to the mint. Where do you think those coins are made? I don't know. I can figure that out. I don't know.
Let's find out. Yeah. I think your metaphor of the biker jacket's perfect. Let me extend it just a little bit for how I feel about John Wick 3 and just John Wick in general, which is like the guy with the flaming embroidered biker jacket walks in and you're like, this guy, get a load of this guy.
This guy.
And then he sits down next to you at the bar and he's like, do you like my jacket? I think it's so stupid. That's why I wear it, because it's funny looking, but also like I'm kind of a scary guy, so I like the jacket because it fits my aesthetic. Can I buy you a drink? You seem nice. And you're like, wait, am I being charmed by this?
And he also
gives
you
guy?
like a legitimate reason besides just that. He's like gives you a career or something the way that he travels that you're like, it makes more sense for me because if you see here, like,
this guy.
I can raise my arms all the way. Usually with these jackets you can't, and there's this little cut here that lets me do. You're just like, dude, there's details.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
They have just done such a good job at making John Wick has all the potential in the world to be the douchiest movie series of all time.
It has the potential to be Tokyo Drift every time.
Yes, 100%. And yet, instead what it does is it looks at itself, it looks at the camera and goes, yeah, we know. Just come on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we know.
That's the difference.
It is Keanu, dude.
It has everything to do.
I completely
with
agree.
Keanu Reeves. Everybody who works with this guy too, it feels like half of the trivia is just other people talking about how prepared Keanu is for this movie.
Yeah.
Halle Berry saying like, hey, I just had to keep up with him. I can't keep up with him. You know? And you're talking about, this was Catwoman, all right? Selena Kyle herself.
She knows what's
up. Who I have seen play basketball like an alien.
Yeah, she's good at basketball.
Like an alien. Oh, that's good. That's very good. Speaking of very good, find me a movie that could have a gunfight on horseback and a jousting fight on the back of a motorcycle, and it's this cool.
He finds a horse, y'all.
Rides a horse like he's a Dothraki.
He gives it a little. He knows that whatever pressure point to get it to kick, and dudes are just getting their.
He does it twice.
Kicked off.
It's like making the movie. They were like, people are going to be shocked by that first, and they're going to be like, "Wow, I can't wait to get this on Blu-ray so I can rewind it." Don't worry, we'll just do it again. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. That was cool.
Yeah.
In a lesser movie, that's my super dump because it's so stupid. Yeah. But in John Wick, I'm like, well, yeah, of course he's probably studied.
Sure. I want to see a horse kick another guy
for his entire life.
Yeah. He's a hortial artist.
A hortial artist. Also, big shout out to I'm not a sports guy, so I can't remember his name, but the big basketball guy.
Boban.
Yeah, dude. Why is he here? I'm so happy about it.
Just because he's big?
So my super pump is in here. I love when we can get the espresso drip of a character. And in the third movie, the third installment, it feels like Parabellum as the third installment of the John Wick series is even more like, it's a bigger reward. I think if you can do 3 of them well, and the fact that this one feels like the best one of the 3 is huge. And we're getting to know this guy so much better. I think in keeping with the rules of the world, our protagonist's rules have to be huge too. Yeah. We have to know that he had to be really mad to shoot homeboy in the Continental in the last episode. But he still follows these little quirks. My super pump is that John puts the book back. For real, that moment, I was like, wow, what a subtle characterization that we stuck with, that like he is just so like he lets some people survive because hey man, good fight, dude. And you don't seem like you're in your head. Like you don't seem like you're cocky or narcissistic. He's like, yo, Boban, we ain't got it. Ernest, why we have to do this right now? You know? And then he does all that stuff and then they fight and he's like, I'm just gonna put this book back where it belongs. Like that he does. It feels like that is both at the same time Keanu and John Wick.
Sure.
Yeah, to me, it was just such a fun moment. I paused it after. Of all the things in this movie, just that little drop was my favorite thing about the movie. Because it was, he's just so about doing things his way and correctly. Don't want to break the rules. This whole world is about the rules. And he broke a big one, but there's still parts of him that are like, nah, I'm willing to forgive and forget. And still this is part of just who I am. I loved it. He put the book back.
No,
Very,
I think
very
it's
good.
great. And I think that's an excellent point. I think something that makes John Wick, both the movies and the character, so fun is consistency. John feels like the same John in every situation. The movie feels like they're following the same set of rules. You know, every spell's not a laser beam. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they
right. There's not
stuck
power
with-
creep. There's like,
Right.
I feel like that's the thing with Fast and Furious is that's the thing everybody always says is like these movies used to be about racing, but then there's the power creep. And in the last one, we sent a car into outer space. And like this, there is no power creep. Like it's exactly what it was when John Wick came out.
Yep. It feels
And
like the
they
rule
happened-
is what's the coolest room and the coolest way they can fight in that room.
And
then let's
apparently
film that.
it's Book. Book is the coolest way to fight whenever you're fighting a basketball
for
boy.
sure one of the coolest ways you can fight.
Yeah. And it's just so, it feels so perfect. And I'm just going to wax poetically even more about John Wick right now. I mean, I guess that's the point. But you've also picked someone who is genetically perfect for this role. Keanu Reeves isn't going anywhere. He looks the same. There's all the jokes about him just being a vampire. It's like my guy doesn't really age. And it took the fact, so here's what, it's bittersweet. We're never going to get John Wick again. We're never going to get a series like this ever again. Because something really unique happened. Because our director, who's only ever done John Wick movies, it took the guy who played Keanu Reeves to make a movie with Keanu.
Yep.
Like their synergy is, you can't have that. You can't do that.
right.
If it's a couple, if it's a dad directing his son, it's not the same. Somebody went in there and has seen how hard this dude works intimately. If you're Keanu Reeves' stunt double, does that mean work was easy? No. Because in John Wick movies, it's like, well, he did 98%.
It's like mostly him.
Yeah, but it means that the 2% you have to do is going to be
hit by a car, fall down the
ridiculous.
stairs.
Right.
Yeah. But after doing all of that and respecting the guy and then being like, hey, man, let's just go out and action it up. It's just too perfect.
It is too perfect. And I think that
planets aligned, man.
So specifically when John is fighting Mad Dog from the Raid.
Yayan Ruhian.
I looked it up. I was so happy to see him.
I was struck by how much bigger Keanu was than that actor. Because in the Raid movies, Mad Dog's not big, but he's not like absolutely dwarfed in comparison. You know what I mean?
He's not teeny weeny. Yeah.
And it's so funny that they had to get Boban to play the dude that dwarfs John Wick.
Right.
Because he's so big, but it put in perspective for me, like, Keanu's kind of huge. He's like 6'2", 6'1", maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we were joking before we started recording about the waddle, the John Wick waddle.
The
that
Keanu waddle.
He kind of runs side to side with his head bobbing back and forth. But it's like, that's how this dude runs.
It's like
because
if you
he's
tried
just
to
a
run
big refrigerator.
Yeah. With your entire foot touching the ground on every step. It's not heel to toe. It's just like everything is 100% flat-footed.
Yeah, he's 6'1", 175 though. So that's when I was talking about, like, he's got the Sims body. He's just this pole of doom walking
Yes,
around.
he is. Yeah, but it just feels like, I don't know. Like I said, it's like this. He's kind of like broad, but thin, like you're saying. So it's just this flat paneled refrigerator running after you that's going to just beat you to death.
There's so much. All the intimidation from him though is his face to me. Like if I see him, and they really, man, do they jazz that up in this one with his fights with Zero, and that he's like, oh, me too, bro. I'm up in the shadows more than you even know. Like just seeing half of John Wick's face lit is the most bad A thing in the world. Mm-hmm. Give me all the lighting and show me all the shadows of this dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keanu has, for the nicest guy, his ratio of nice guy to scary face is off the charts.
I wonder if that's intentional. If he's just a little bit like, I know I look like this. I know I look like I could be scary to you.
Yeah,
you need to go top tier here.
It could be. There are some all-time action movie scenes just ever in this movie.
Can I super pump one of them?
Sure.
Were you about to send us to shout announcements? I don't know what time it is.
We're close to shout announcements, so I was going to kind of tease and dangle, but if you'd like to go there, we can go there. We can go to.
I'll not only tease, not only dangle, but fulfill. I'll satiate.
It's going to bum me out if yours is mine, because then I'm going to have to do it too.
Is it the knives?
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen in a movie is when
The knife cases?
Well, I want to be
all the knives.
Let me clarify real quick. Mine is not specifically the knives. Mine begins at him building his own revolver as people are trying to break into the room and finishes when that entire sequence is done.
Sure.
That's an homage to The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, I think.
Is it?
That. No, like legitimately. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for me, it's the fact that John Wick throws about 100 knives in all of the dudes in this hallway. It's absolutely unbelievable. The knife like through the top of somebody's head, like down into them, like he's making like their head's a pumpkin. He's making a stem, is pretty rough. The hatchet through the like axe throw from across the room into the last guy, but just that is
our shot of him, like he's blurry in the background.
That is insane. Like that is the raid levels of like, this is the nastiest thing I've ever seen, but it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I love that so many of them are missing.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing too about this series is it's not really, I mean, he's incredibly efficient and incredibly accurate, but people miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a stormtrooper's miss. It's like, and John gets beat up so bad all the time.
Oh, yeah. That's why I love how many times in the John Wick movies, the doctors are like, take this for pain and energy. And it's like, okay, that explains that. Let him keep going.
Got it.
Sure.
Yep.
Sounds good. It's just
that's the video game aspect of it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
It's like you just hear like the pop of a bottle, like a medicine bottle cap, and now your health is up to 75%.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the best fight scene in the John Wick series. It's one of the best movie fight scenes I've ever seen. It is thrilling. It's exhausting. I'm tired when it's over. It is shot so well. There's like 4 different types of fighting happening all at the same time. We got gun, we got knife, we got hatchet, we got fist.
It feels like Keanu doesn't have to act.
Right.
As these fight scenes resolve and continue is like, because my guy is exhausted.
Yeah.
He's so tired because he's doing most of this stuff. Yeah. It's awesome.
It's just so cool, man.
Sick.
It's just so cool.
When he,
I feel like
and when he,
that could be our whole John Wick Chapter 3 episode. Is just the three of us saying it's so cool over and over again.
100%. The other thing that it has to be is shout announcements right now. Welcome to Shout Announcements. It's now. It's the shout announcements part of the show.
Shout announcements.
We're coming to the base of shouts. Okay, listen up, you knuckleheads. If you're listening to this on release day or shortly thereafter, I have good news. That means that voting is now open for our upcoming series.
Rock the vote. Get that civic booty out to do that civic duty.
Rock the vote, guys. Rock the vote. There's a poll. There's a poll on, I believe it'll be in our Instagram bio. It'll be on our website. You can find it wherever you find polls. And
this is true.
On that poll, you'll be able to vote for the movies that we'll discuss in our upcoming animation series featuring non-Disney animation.
That's right. It's not Disney. It's not Disney.
It is DiGiorno.
Get your voting fingers ready because we were also going to go through, obviously, Spring Delirium in the midst of all the March Madness. There's something out there that's even crazier and even more unpredictable, and that's Spring Delirium.
A lot of people say it's
64
Everybody says it's better.
Characters in this one. A lot of duos in this one.
And here's the thing. With all that voting, you're probably wondering, how can I have my voice heard twice as you should?
Hear it again. Let's hear it again.
If you're a member of our Patreon, either tier, you do get access to a second vote in all voting scenarios.
Amazing.
So make sure that you're all up in that Patreon business because you're going to want to have your voice heard because there's a lot of movies and characters to choose from here, and you want to make sure that your favorite gets discussed.
With a new integrated Survivor game in our voting series too, if you're willing to take a risk, you can also steal someone else's vote. That I can't not think of that all the time. That's not true. What is true is that our next movie that we're going to be reviewing is obviously, there was a reason. You probably looked at the calendar. John Wick came out. It's like, oh, that's fun. I think the other movie's coming out this year. Wait a minute. It's coming out 4 weeks from now. That's right. We're all going to get together, those of us here on the podcast, and see John Wick Chapter 4, no colon. It's officially called John Wick Chapter 4, colon, no colon, in theaters, and we're going to review that for you. Early reviews say, man, same with a lot of the same good stuff. I saw a critic that said,
now is that verbatim?
They can officially just keep doing this. They're like, hey, we can, new setting, new people, new weapons.
Sure.
John Wick can live as long as it wants to. And I hope it does.
Me too.
You can't end on Chapter 4. Surely there's at least 5.
I believe there's already a 5 in the works, if I remember correctly.
I heard the 5 is he's going after the head table. But we'll see. We'll see.
And you may have noticed I didn't get to say anything during shout announcements. That's because our panel of judges has informed me that I did such a good job in the first half of this episode that I get to take a little break.
I heard it was because you're scared.
Looking for adventure in 2023? How does island hopping in Thailand sound? What about marveling at waterfalls in Iceland? Or tapas with your new BFFs in Seville? What about discovering the world with an awesome group of 18 to 35s? Explore all of this and more with Kontiki. You'll sleep in the coolest accommodation and learn from local guides and experts. Visit Kontiki.com. That's CONTIKI.com to book your next adventure. Kontiki. Travel together.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry or full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on your favorites with the Buy 5 or More, Save $1 each sale. Simply buy 5 or more participating items and save $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
All right, let's talk Halle Berry and everything that comes with her. Because if you gave me a list of people that I was like, who should John Wick fight next to? Halle Berry with 2 dogs would not have been on my list that I would have come up with. And yet it's the only thing that makes sense. It's so perfect and amazing. She's awesome.
It's wonderful. She's really good in this.
She's awesome. So very good.
She's so cool.
Yeah, dude.
And her dogs are sick.
They're crazy. I think it was fun to show us that it feels like she's got a touch of the John Wick tenacity because we see what she does even after her dog wasn't killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
These are real dogs too. real dogs on real movie sets pulling real G's, and you could definitely tell. No, they're great. They're super good.
Ferocious.
Like, I don't know. I don't get excited if I watch like a dog show where it's like, whoa, look at that dog doing those tricks. That's cool. But I did feel that a little bit of that in myself as I was watching this. Like, oh my gosh, look at how fast that dog, look at that dog jump. Wow.
Yeah. Every time a dog took somebody out for her.
Yeah.
And just held him down so that she could just pop a cap in him, keep rolling.
Yep.
Just dislocating arms, dude. They're just ripping people apart.
Just an update from me. I think if I was in the John Wick universe, I would wear a cup at all times. It just seems like Special Zones took a major beating in this movie at the
a
hands
lot of shot to the
John.
beans.
Just like it was knives, it was bullets, it was dog mouths.
Yeah.
Just Beans stay getting pulverized in this movie.
Yeah.
We remotes are gone.
Yeah.
Not used again.
They forgot to use the safety strap.
And they just flung it straight into the ground.
Straight through the TV of life.
You know, something that was really interesting to me to see Halle Berry in the John Wick series is like, oh, you know, if we're to say Keanu in just the history of cinema is like A-list type guy. I mean,
just
Keanu
two
Reeves
people
is,
that don't age.
Mr. Worldwide. Yeah, two people that don't age, and just to have someone else that was like his caliber of stardom.
Yeah, for sure.
was crazy, and it was a big win for John Wick. For the series, I think, to be able to say like, yo, you can put another big name in here and it still gets to do its thing.
And I mean this in the least disrespectful way possible. Like a late 90s Y2K era sort of has been really works in these kinds of movies to me.
Did you just call Halle Berry a has-been?
I did a little bit. Halle Berry's not doing anything incredible right now.
Wow.
Halle Berry was one of the biggest stars on the planet 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, she doesn't do very much anymore.
Keanu. And
right,
that's he's back.
That's what I'm saying.
He's thinking he's back.
He's thinking
he's probably back. Yeah, their chemistry as far as fighting goes, as far as sort of just intensity, she matches him so well. I know they trained together like on the gun range and like with all this stuff. Yeah. And I think really that shows a lot. Like I think you can really tell that she gave a lot to this movie. And I just think that she, in a world where I could be convinced that John is collecting
one man
partners to eventually do some sort of like John Wick and Friends versus the Head Table or something.
That's fine.
I'm down if Halle Berry shows back up.
So it's going to be John Wick.
Normal to mispronounce somebody's name, by the way. Perfectly normal.
Yeah,
it's going to be John, Halle Berry, Common.
Yeah, fingers crossed for Donnie Yen.
Yeah, no,
I think Common is a guaranteed return.
I'd love it if Common came back. I loved Cassius. That's such a cool character.
Yeah.
Yeah. This series as a whole, sorry.
Go ahead.
Super dumb?
I was, but I don't like that negativity, so you go.
I was just going to say this series as a whole, I don't think realistically there's a world where the producer's director of this said, we're going to make a ton of these. I don't think there's a world where they knew exactly what was happening next. But regardless, if that existed or not, the way that we're choosing to add things into the series, more world building, more characters, it's not overdoing it. You know, it's not like that 7-course meal and they just keep hitting you with like carbs and proteins. Like every time you're like, oh my God, what the, like it seems like there still is a method to it. And I think that's really hard to do when you don't really know what the next installment is.
Yeah.
It feels like they're not just saturating it with here's Halle Berry and now here's, I don't know, who's another, we'd have just like, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds. Like they just like keep popping in like all these A-listers. Yeah. It doesn't get to do what Fast and Furious does, and it's not supposed to. And I know we talk about that all the time. But that's one of the things that makes Fast and Furious fun is because we don't care. I don't care what's happening outside of that world. Do whatever. It's a playpen. It's like, here are the walls, here's some paint, cover your body and just do whatever you want. Like it just feels so calculated. And I think that's one of the great things about this series so far.
Yeah. One thing that it felt maybe calculated in the wrong way to me, like a little bit corporate calculated, is some of the humor that Zero exhibits in this movie. I keep wanting to call him 47. He does look like Agent 47 to me quite a lot, and almost to the point where I'm like, is that an intentional Hitman reference? I was expecting to see a barcode on the back of his head. But some of the humor with Zero doesn't quite land for me. Like I think that was a pretty good fight, huh, John? Doesn't super duper work for me. Yes, that's funny. And maybe that's I mean, and this might be heresy on this podcast, maybe that's a Keanu shortcoming. I don't know that I think Keanu would be the best scene partner in something that's supposed to be like super like funny, charismatic in that way. But some of the humor,
but whatever.
Well, sure. Some of the humor felt a little marvelly to me in those instances. Like we would cut the tension with a joke that maybe was not really representative of the way we've done that type of thing in John Wick 1 and 2. That is my super dump for this movie. It's just some of the humor felt a little bit like, wait, what's the Avengers doing? Let's see if we can copy their homework a little bit.
That's funny. I get that. Mark Dacascos, who plays Zero, it also felt very much like him.
Yeah.
Do you know what else he does?
I don't know.
He's the host of Iron Chef, but he's also done, his uncle was the very first host of Iron Chef. And then he's the current host of Iron Chef. And he is over the top, like ridiculous. He's been, when I was doing my B movie renaissance, he's in a lot of B movies too. He's over the top. And I don't know if it was like the same way that we grabbed Boban, who's plays center for the Houston Rockets and is just known as this charismatic character, and just kind of went ahead and put Boban in the movie.
Sure.
Made him an assassin, but it's like, hey, yo, he's just here because he's tall. It feels like that's kind of what we did with Mark. But yeah, he is ridiculous. But some of that stuff was, I couldn't believe he was still alive.
Right.
That was funny. He's just like not dying. I think they were really leaning into him being like fangirling.
Yes.
And then kind of being offended.
So that's what I was going to say is I'm not, respect the dump, obviously, but I really like it. What's happening to me right now? I really liked it.
I thought there was an audio issue.
Do you smell toast?
An audio. I really liked it. I thought that it was fun to me in this world where everybody knows who John Wick is in this underground, and everybody is so intimidated and scared by him. I love that there's somebody who's like, I want to be you.
Zero
and
feels very
you.
Syndrome.
Yes.
Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Yeah. And I thought, in fact, my read on that was a good fight, huh, John, was not that it was supposed to be funny. Like that it was almost like, I'm sitting here dying. My hero killed me. I put up a good fight, right? Like,
sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that's possible, but I don't know. It just did feel like it was supposed to read comedy to me. And maybe that's a bad example. There were other moments that I think were supposed to read comedy as well.
I feel like Dacascos asked for that, to be honest. I think they had him dead. And he was like, hey, guys, so what if I come back just for a bit? And they're like, sure, man, do whatever. He just feels like one of those guys. Tommy and I, old roommate of mine, we would watch Iron Chef all the time. And one of our favorite parts, have y'all watched Iron Chef?
No.
It's been a long time.
They reveal the secret ingredient. It's so over the top, but it's meant to be like you're walking into this gladiator arena to just cook against each other. It's fascinating. I'd love to go to a live showing. But there's one time, every time he'll like, today's secret ingredient is sea urchin. Like he just yells as if he's like summoning the spirit of one of these things to like fight a monster. But there's one time that the secret ingredient was pizza dough. And it was just pizza dough. And the way he yelled, and it felt like this was the most minuscule secret ingredient. And so Tommy and I would do that all the time. It's like, you're playing some intramural sport or you're trying to lift something. You're just pizza dough. Like, so to see Mark in this setting, Mark Dacascos, I was like, oh my gosh. Because I know he's got the chops. I'm sure he's also a martial artist. So
yeah,
clearly he had the chops. I think with our director being a stuntman, he's doing a really good job of casting people that he knows are capable when they need to be.
Dude, 100%.
Because also, why can't I think of his name? Oh my gosh, who works for Winston? Come on, dude.
Oh, I can't remember his character name, but
Sharon?
Yeah.
Charon? Am I saying it wrong? How do you say
Lance
it?
Reddick.
Karen.
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick also has a history of being able to at least have like gun work.
Be a gun boy. Yeah.
With the wire and things like that. And so very intentional. With
Man, I love Lance Reddick, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Just wish had more Lance Reddick and stuff.
I'm sure we'll see him fight again now that they've opened that up. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't.
We're not quite to the very, very end of our discussion yet, but I am going to talk about the very, very end of the movie, if that's okay with everybody, because
do it then.
The what is the final line? Are you pissed or are you angry? What is it? I don't remember.
Are you pissed? Are you pissed off, John?
I mean, that is. It bodes well for 4.
Yeah.
That's the energy
pissed.
We're entering John Wick 4 with. Is John Wick finally mad again?
Bursted eye. John Wick is scary.
Yeah. Big scare.
Big scare.
He also only has 9 fingers now.
Yes, he does.
Wild.
Yes, he does. What's the over-under on a wrist blade similar a la Assassin's Creed?
I did have that thought when they cut his finger off. I was like, oh, so this is Assassin's Creed now.
Yep.
This is the modern day Assassin's Creed that we're
going
never
to
going
replace that finger with something that can kill people.
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Either replace it or give him some sort of like in-sleeve gun that he can like close his fist and it comes out and he blasts people with or something.
Sure.
I think they're just going to get weird with it.
Stupid, but it would make me so happy.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
In another movie, we'd be like, it's so ridiculous that he's got a gun in his wrist that comes through his empty finger hole. But in John Wick, I'm like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. World issue that I had. Sure. Excuse me. Now I'm audio drowning. I get it. Maybe it's not an issue because we need to see Keanu Reeves. We need to see John Wick's hair. We need to have him in some kind of suit. But isn't it just game over if we put him in one of these armored suits?
That's what I'm thinking. I had that exact thought watching this movie. It's like we watched him block
just
bullets
switch
with his
it
coat.
out, my guy.
Yep.
But it's like maybe in my mind, I'm like, John Wick just likes the challenge. He likes the fight because he's unbeatable in one of those suits.
Yep.
Probably doesn't have the mobility he needs.
Maybe that's it.
You
too,
say you want to
know?
be able to turn your head.
Yeah. But that navigating that entire scene of him having to recalibrate and be like, okay, we got to step our game up a little bit. And just pulling up those helmets. Those were some of the most gruesome
Shooting
murders
through the like
in
eye
all
visor.
of John Wick.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And then we got
when
the
they-
armor-piercing shotgun.
The shotgun scene. So it turns out I do know how shotguns work. John Wick 2 made me think I don't know how shotguns work. John Wick 3 reminds me that I do know how shotguns work, which is big blast, big ouchie.
Big ouch. I mean, that was like
Massive ouchie,
that was
dude.
like Doom.
tops of heads being blown off.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Unbelievably sick. Very glad it happened. Super cool.
Oof, man.
But yucky.
Oof, yucky.
I realized that because I was having a crisis of memory when we watched John Wick 2, and I was like, I could have sworn the mirror room was in John Wick 3, but it looks like it's
And
in
it kind
2.
of is.
To do it
But
again.
there's just two reflecty rooms,
Yep.
back-to-back movies, which on the one hand, let's play in another space, but on the other hand, it's so cool to do it twice.
That space is super
Still
cool.
looks great.
so
I'll
cool
go to
do it
Six
twice.
Flags twice. That's a cool enough space to play at least 2 times.
I think that
I wanna ride a
something
roller coaster
that
so bad right now.
that is working for the John Wick series is that I'm mixing up. I don't know what fight happens where.
Right.
I think that works for the series because this is now being almost filmed over a decade.
Yeah.
We've filmed 4 days in a decade. And I think you want it. Don't you want it to just all feel like it just goes together?
Totally.
Excellent. You could easily do a supercut after, chapter 4 is out, which we know is almost 3 hours long.
Wow.
Fine.
You can do a supercut of like a 9-hour just John Wick's awful week
Yeah.
and just watch that all together. That would be a blast.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
It just picks up right where the other stuff left off.
Was there anything that felt like it was breaking the world a bit to have John Wick go out into the desert to meet the man above the high table? Because that is silly and frankly pretty stupid. But I loved the whole time I was like, why does this work? This works completely. Like this dude in a suit who just like his biggest problem 3 days ago was that his dog got killed and his car got stolen is now out in the desert to meet the man that's above the shadowy
I think we
secret
just
organization.
We have to see that dude again.
Yeah.
We can't have gone out there and know that he has power, so much power. They kind of felt like they made this the most powerful being in the Wickiverse.
Well, John defied him.
Right.
Yeah,
That's going to come back, I think.
Sure. He's the final boss, right?
maybe.
He must
knowing
be.
John Wick, John's just going to cap him within the first 5 minutes of John Wick 4. Like, knowing John Wick, they're going to tie up this loose end by John Wick showing up and just blasting
Just
him.
Thanos him.
Yeah.
No, here's what I think. I think that Lance Reddick is going to become that new guy who's secretly head of the high table.
Whoa.
At the end of all the John's Wicks, we're going to end with a restructuring of the Assassin's Guild, and Lance Reddick is going to fill that role of the
Why
person
not
who
Ian
is.
McShane? I think Lance Reddick will take over the Continental.
Nope.
Why would
I
the
think
guy
you'll
who
be
works
like
the
with
front
Jordan
desk? Why would the guy who works the front desk jump the guy who's over the New York Continental?
I don't think Ian McShane's going to want
That's what
it.
he wants
I'm just saying. I don't have to explain it right now because John Wick 7 is going to explain it for me.
Oh, how convenient. You can just throw stuff out into the ether and
Let's
then just
see.
say, ooh, it'll get there. I think John Wick's going to have wings by the end. I don't have to explain it.
John Wick, what I've seen about Chapter 4 is that
Keanu's in it. For sure.
Their head, yes.
Yeah,
obviously,
He's like
vendetta,
the main character.
even more vendetta. It's now, I'm not pissed alone anymore. You know?
See,
It's
that's
like I
what
got friends
excites
that are
me the
pissed.
most about 4.
Yep.
It feels like John's
and
finally got a crew.
We're supposed to, I think in this one, have an entirely different, it's like when you find out that Hogwarts isn't the only school of magic. So supposedly there's supposed to be a whole like Bill Skarsgård led crew that are kind of getting in the way of the ultimate vendetta.
It's John Wick
which is
Bobatons.
Cool.
Basically. Trying to get to the head table, which is going to happen eventually. It's so exciting to still have something to look forward to. That's when it starts to feel a little bit like peak MCU. It's like, man, all these fights are great, but I know what's coming.
I know he's going to have to
and
fight
I want
the
to
head
see my
table.
guy take down everybody at the head table because I know they're going to look so cool.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get some head table introductions in Chapter 4.
I think so too. What if the end of the John Wick series is essentially John recreating his impossible task? Like, what if it's 12 assassinations in one night, and the 12 assassinations are the head table?
Yeah.
You want to hear my big way out there theory?
Yeah.
Helen's not dead, bro.
Ooh.
His wife is not dead. She's the head of all. I haven't seen a body. I don't think she's dead. It's going to be crazy.
Dozier Lance Reddick theory
She's-
doesn't sound that weird to me anymore. Contextually, just comparatively, it sounds.
What if, hang on, Carter, I do think she's dead, but what if we find out she was killed to bring John out of retirement by somebody who wanted the head table gone and knew that John was the only one that could do it?
Now that's
So
some
lame.
stuff that I'm into.
John Wick, bro. John Wick, dude.
That's the
Get outta here.
Uzbeki counterpart to John Wick.
I just tried to throw something out there and it was bad, dude. It was bad.
Bad.
Y'all's is better.
That one was bad.
But here's the thing. If she's not, I will need apologies.
I'd love to. Yeah.
If Helen is alive,
I'll have Lance Reddick send you an apology.
they're going to totally Palpatine John Wick's wife. Watch.
Somehow
Cabal.
Helen returned.
And they're going to make it work.
Well, they will. Yeah. Here's what
There'll
I'll
be
say.
an arena of hooded Helens.
Here's what I will say
And they'll have
is
a
that
final fight.
if they do bring her back, they will make it work because they have consistently proven that is what they are good at.
Yeah.
I have no doubts about that. I have no
Donnie Yen.
concerns. Yeah,
Donnie
Donnie
Yen.
Yen.
I
I
keep
can't
thinking-
wait.
A blind swordsman, from what I can tell.
Sure.
Are you
I
sure?
think he's blind in this movie.
Again? He was blind in Rogue One. That seems
Hey.
like a lot of times for Donnie Yen to be blind.
A yen?
Yeah. That's it, though.
Gotcha.
I'm one with the head table.
Yeah.
The head table is with me. Here's the thing. Bottom line. Stoked out of my gourd
Yeah.
for this film. Cannot
Yeah.
wait. Gonna be a banger. I hope you're all ready.
What a fun one to watch together.
Yep.
Yeah, this is peak Friends
Ticket
at
spot,
the movie
y'all.
theaters.
Do you want to dress up like John Wick?
Nope. How's that for
just show
curb
up.
stomping an idea?
Y'all want to
show
waddle
up
like John
formal?
Wick into the theater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Round it out with a third question.
Do y'all want to... I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know. There's nothing I want in this life more than to go see John Wick 4. I think if I see that, I'll be satisfied.
Fair enough. It's time to rate this movie using the scientific cinema scale, which is perfect and as follows. The best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy that poster.
Buy that poster. I forgot to say it, but I still mean it.
The next best thing is buy it. That's followed by rent it. And then stream it. After that is forget it. And last but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie.
God hath forsaken us.
I'm buying the poster.
Yeah.
I'm buying the poster for John Wick 3. It's the best. And if John Wick 4 is equal or better, then I will be a happy, happy camper.
That's the trend.
I just think that John Wick 3 is the culmination of everything that 1 and 2 put in place and then polished up and perfected here. It's so good. This is probably the best action movie of the last decade. It's awesome.
That is verbatim what critics are saying about John Wick Chapter 4. By the way.
Good.
Yeah, the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes, where it is at a 91% right now, is that John Wick Chapter 4 piles on more of everything and suggests that when it comes to a well-dressed Keanu Reeves dispatching his enemies in lethally ballet style, there can never be too much.
Sure, agreed. Bring it.
Ballet, what a weird word.
Wow. I like it.
I buy the poster. I don't know if I said it, but I buy the poster. What an exciting time to be alive.
Somebody get this man a poster. I'm buying the poster as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, guys. What a cool movie.
Yeah.
What a cool movie.
You shot a guy underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about how cool that was.
Amazing.
He rode
The
on the
bullets
side of
just
his horse.
We went back to, we had a little John Wick 1 callback, dude, which he had been in there, 4 days before?
Yeah.
Something like that. He back.
Surprised they let him back in.
Some of the world building stuff, he's traveling pretty fast. That's a thing for me.
So it's actually
We don't
not
really-
4 days. Somebody mentions
Sure.
somebody mentions at some point like you've had a heck of a week or like a heck of a couple weeks or something. So I think it's been an appropriate amount of time for all the traveling.
How long does it take to go to the desert?
I'm
been
just
that
saying,
long.
like, we don't
Couple days.
see, it's fine. We don't see any of the travel. I don't care about day and night because for me, it's just like, I guess it's night now. Like, I'm not really following the calendar. I don't think we need to.
If you watch closely, you notice John Wick never takes a leak. Dude's been
Never
holding his
pees.
pee.
That's the thing that I think they need to put in 4 if they want me to buy into the realism of this world is that John Wick needs to pee poo poo.
You gotta use the bathroom, dude. If there's
Gotta
anything
have
a
potty
Tamagotchi
scene.
taught me, is you gotta use the bathroom.
You got
The Sims, you gotta pee.
Gotta have
He's just gonna do the Sims like, Jawaka Masafa, and like just pee on the floor.
You're gonna collapse into a puddle of your own urine, John, and you're
Yeah.
built like a sim anyway.
Can't do that.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Hey, John Wick 4, get into it next week. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
John Wick could do so much damage with our microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weight of this table mic.
Yeah, it's like
Oh my
perfect.
God.
I've seen him
If he
kill a
uns-
man with
I-
a pencil.
If he unscrewed the top, he could
pencil.
swing it with the cord like a flail. That's perfect,
Yeah,
right?
I look at everything as a John Wick weapon now. This little bottle of hand sanitizer, he could do many things. He could stuff it down your throat. He could squirt it in your eye.
Does it feel like,
don't know.
by the
He
way,
could throw it.
Mad Dog, I'm looking.
Yayan Ruhian.
Yes. Does it
An
feel,
excellent
is it a him signature thing to have a scene in every movie where they like reset the fight because they're fighting with honor? Because it feels like
it.
every movie
Feels
I've ever
like
seen
it.
him in, there's
Yeah.
a point where he's like, no. I could kill you right now, but we're going to wait. We're going to reset. I want this to
Yeah.
be real. And I love
Yeah.
that.
It's cool.
And when John like exhaustedly removes his belt,
Yeah.
it's so good.
How do you pronounce the director's name? Chad
I would say Stahelski.
Stahelski? It does feel like there's little bits of like, because this is the only directing he's done is John Wick stuff and it's super his wheelhouse. So it does feel like when Zero says, hey, can I get up again when the sword's totally through my chest? And when Mad Dog's like, hey, can we just take a break? And he's just like, yeah. Like
Yeah,
he gets,
totally.
he's way more, he's not proud enough to be like, sorry, man.
This is my auteur vision. Yeah.
Stahelski movies don't roll like that, bro.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's not trying to slap it out of his characters to be like, give me more. Maybe, but it's just fighting, you know?
Yeah. Fight harder.
It's not like Villeneuve whispering something in Jake Gyllenhaal's ear.
Yeah.
And then now he's inspired. So I think a lot of people have room to just do whatever they want. Hey, what do you think? Yeah, great idea.
Which is why this rules. John Wick 4 next week. Don't forget to vote for our animation series. Go do that. If you have Patreon, you get to vote twice. So why aren't you doing that right now? If I'm being 100% TBH with you. And very excited for what is to come in the coming weeks. It's going to be a good time. To end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and what one object we'd like to see John Wick hurt somebody real bad with in John Wick Chapter 4.
Easy. A calzone.
Too hot, fresh out
Fresh
of
out the oven. Open that boy. Venus flytrap it on his face. Sorry to jump ahead.
Venus
I am hungry
flytraps
enough.
are just the calzones of the plant world.
Dude, I have
Said it
said
since
that.
day one.
Oh my gosh. People are finally starting to wake up to this
If I had a
reality.
nickel, huh? My name is Jordan Wonders. This one's me. And I'd like to see him do it this time with a mechanical pencil. I'd like to see him stab and then click, 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 click. Just get the lead all the way in there. Give him lead poisoning, slow death.
Ridiculous.
I'm Doge. Car keys.
Between his fingers like he's nervous in a parking lot.
Yep. But lucky for John, he's got extra finger space, so he put 2 keys there.
That's what it is, dude. That's why they did it.
I don't know what made me just think of, maybe it's just all the violence of John Wick. In the midst of watching action movies straight for like a year for this podcast, the most gruesome thing I've seen in the last year is still when Wayman Wang gets a piece of paper and cuts between all of his fingers.
Yeah, how is that worse than the kneecap in the raid? How is that?
Oh, yeah.
How is the paper cuts worse?
No idea. I'm Carter, and immediately I thought hammer. I haven't seen too many blunt objects used, and I think that'd be fun for me. I'm going to end with towel. I want to see him finally taking a shower.
I bet he stinks.
And a towel.
I
think he could do something.
Doesn't Jason Bourne fight somebody with like a washcloth or a dish rag or something?
Oh, no.
Doesn't he?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't seen those movies in so long.
I think I would hate
to
know.
a guitar. Take the strings off too. Guitar could be fun.
That'd be fun. He would pop like a tuning peg in each hole on a person's body.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he'd kill him.
Legos.
Just
scatter him. Just scatter him. Sock full of marbles.
Another person, just a child, just swinging this kid around
like nunchucks.
Hold these. It gives the kid 2 knives. He's like, what do I do with them? Just hold them. Picks him up by the ankles and just starts swinging this kid around.
At Kroger, shopping with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, deals, and rewards on the same high-quality items. It's one small click for groceries, one big win for busy families everywhere. Start your cart today at Kroger.com. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
And right now, stock up on your favorites during the 10 for 10 sale. Mix and match participating items and get 10 for just $10 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
So, how does it feel when you play Roll Up to Win with Tim Hortons? Buy a hot or cold beverage using the Tim's app and find out. Roll in the app for a chance to win prizes ranging from free coffee and donuts to a Universal Orlando resort vacation or a sweet car. Oh, don't forget the TV. And this year, every roll is a shot at a $1,000 daily giveaway drawing for 2 $500 prizes. Roll up to win and get treated by Tim's. No purchase necessary. Account registration required. 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 plus entered by 4/2/23. See rules at rolluptowin.com for free entry and full details. Void in Florida and where prohibited.